smoking now starts. For
trades that
an
have
easy
on,
quiz
y'all?
to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Broadcasting from the Phoenix Center for the Arts, you're tuned to KRDP Jazz and Indie, where the Valley comes to talk, sing, connect. KRDP, Apache Junction, Goldfield Ghost Town, Phoenix, 90.7 FM in the East Valley, and online at Listen, the number 2, KRDP.com, a service of Desert Soul Media.
Views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of Desert Soul Media and its board of directors. Thank you for listening.
This week on the Keep 1 Million show, the NBA draft is live and the number one pick is in. As we all know, Victor Wembanyama from France is your number one pick. We're going to talk about that and what other player can be an impact in the league. We're also going to talk about
for them to watch it.
The NBA offseason,
watch it for a little bit,
free agency, and all the trades and moves that have been made in the past week. We're also going to get into the NBA champion Denver Nuggets and who is the next team that can beat them. And we're also going to get into what happened in that submarine by the Titanic. Been the biggest story in this past week.
We're going to
have that
knew it wasn't,
and more
exactly
right here
safe.
on the
I
Keep
need to
1
read up a
Million
little
show.
bit more on it though.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So I won't talk about it not being safe. What I'll say is like it's crazy that they paid almost $250,000 each to go on in and go down low. I'll talk about that. But
You do that for the second hour.
okay.
I had to find a whole bunch of other topics too, so busy with other stuff.
You got your top 10, or you want to do that next week?
Oh, I forgot about that too. You did a top 10, right?
Yeah, I did sports movies. Hey, YouTube fan, man, craziness, y'all, craziness.
Wow.
A lot of trades, y'all. They got that mega trade. Of course, you know we're gonna talk about the Bradley Beal trade. We're gonna talk about the Celtics, Grizzlies, Washington, Jordan Poole, CP3. Wow, crazy! I'm actually really excited, man. It's like there's a lot going on, man. I didn't think a lot would be going on. You know, the summertime be WNBA and baseball.
Lakers got a player from Indiana.
They did what?
The Lakers got a player from Indiana.
Okay.
Point guard. Jalen Hood. Safina.
Jalen Hood. He said Juwan Howard's son got picked up. I'm on mic 1, just let you know. Todd out there jamming.
See the craziest thing about I talk about that in the second hour.
About who?
Scottie Pippen's ex-wife.
Uh,
She gets half of his retirement money.
oh yeah.
Man, that is crazy.
Yeah,
I
Mom.
had to bring it up just for some gossip for the second hour.
Yeah, I heard about that. He yeah, like that. Cause me and the wife and I were talking about that. Like he's not doing really too good in life.
I mean, he is for
I mean,
retired NBA player, but as far as I don't know. I mean, compared to me and you, he's doing very well.
oh, heck yeah. I mean, I'm
You know
not.
what I mean?
I'm just comparing him to his
other-
contemporaries.
Yeah. Right.
Comparing him to me, I mean, come on now.
Yeah, exactly.
She got half his pension, man. But they do that in the military too. If you've been married to your spouse for longer than 10 years, and then you say you get divorced after 12, she's allowed 50% of your pension.
Wow. Well, that's normal.
Yeah,
That's just part of the.
They made that a thing because they was finding that a lot of men were marrying a lot of women from overseas. They come over here, then they went and
We're coming on right now.
all right.
Been waiting for a long time, but we ain't gonna wait no more. We're getting ready to rock and roll. We're gonna 1, 2, 3.
And we're back to Keep 1 Million Show. I'm Dwayne.
Sean P, we back.
And it is the NBA draft that's live. If you know who Victor Wembanyama is, he went first overall to the San Antonio Spurs.
Yes.
The number 2 pick is Brandon Miller.
Out of Alabama, right?
Yes, from Alabama. Let me just get that going on. Hold on. So I'm just gonna go to the top 10 picks. Victor Wembanyama goes to San Antonio. Brandon Miller, number 2 from Alabama, goes to the Charlotte Hornets, who this is Michael Jordan's that's his last pick. He actually had say in that pick, so he actually picked good for finally. Well, not finally, but him and Mitch Kupchak with Brandon Miller. This is interesting. Number 3, Scoot Henderson goes to the Portland Trailblazers. He is from the G League Ignite team. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. Eamon Thompson from Overtime Elite goes to the Houston Rockets. And his twin brother, Asur Thompson, also Overtime Elite, goes to the Detroit Pistons.
Okay.
Anthony Black from Arkansas goes to Orlando Magic.
Right.
Bilal Koulibaly from France goes to the Indiana Pacers. He's actually Victor Wembanyama's teammate in France.
All right.
Jarris Walker from Houston, University of Houston, goes to the Washington Wizards. We're definitely going to talk about the Washington Wizards coming up. That was the 8th pick. The 9th pick, Taylor Hendricks from University of Central Florida.
All right.
He goes to, doesn't say, hold on. It doesn't say right now, but I don't know why. He may have gotten traded. So we'll look at that later.
Mm-hmm.
Cason Wallace from Kentucky, number 10 pick, goes to the Dallas Mavericks.
Okay.
Now, there was a whole lot of trades going on before the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Namely, since we're here in Phoenix,
Mm-hmm.
Bradley Beal gets traded here to the Phoenix Suns for Chris Paul and some draft picks.
Yeah.
Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, multiple second-round draft picks for Bradley Beal, Jordan Goodwin, and Isaiah Todd. That's the official trade right there. Then, Washington Wizards was not done. They was in a 3-team trade with the Celtics. They traded Kristaps Porzingis to the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
2023 first round pick and 2024 first round pick. That's what the Celtics get. Washington gets Tyus Jones and Danilo Gallinari and Mike Muscala,
Mm-hmm.
and a 2023 second round pick.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the interesting part is that the Boston Celtics give up Marcus Smart and he goes to the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah.
What did you think about that as far as Marcus Smart's concerned, because of you have the Jordan Poole situation and you also have not Jordan Poole, the John Morant situation. I'm already going ahead of myself. The John Morant situation and the Celtics when trying to keep their big two together.
Well, Marcus Smart was a heartbeat of that locker room. He was the heartbeat of that team, but they realized they had to do something to get better. Now, Marcus Smart is going to do good out there in Memphis because his pedigree is come from Boston. His pedigree is there. He could really be a mentor to John Morant, and he could really galvanize that locker room, just like Steven Adams. I believe him and Steven Adams are going to be real good together to galvanize that locker room and get that together. They already got rid of Dylan Brooks, so that gets rid of a little bit of a problem right there. And I believe it's they got a good player. He's not the best point guard because his decision making skills down the way were a little bit off.
Right.
But that's why they had to bring in Malcolm Brogdon, and they also have Boston has White. They got White, so Boston really came out good with Kristaps Porzingis. But I like Marcus Smart over there in Memphis.
Yeah, and the Kristaps Porzingis part, I'm a Knicks fan, so I've seen him since his rookie season, and he's only had really possibly 2 good seasons out of his 6 seasons. He's mostly been injured with leg injuries, torn ACLs and whatnot. He did have, I guess, a good season last year. They said he was at 23 points per game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, it could be a good thing if he, maxes out as far as a player, and they keep, Brown and also Tatum. They're gonna keep him as well, but the jury's still out on Kristaps Porzingis, so I'm really gonna hold off there.
Yeah, but think about it. They're not asking him to do much. I mean, they because that's Jason Tatum's team.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the team. So they asking him to protect the rim, 7'3", protect the rim. He can guard the perimeter. He can shoot the outside shot. He's not the main option. He's like the 4th option.
I'm not saying he's the main option. What I'm saying is, it seems like they feel that Porzingis is going to put them over the hump as far as getting them to the finals again and possibly winning the championship. You let go a defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
You let go one of the top defensive players in this league right now, Marcus Smart. And I think really the best team out of this trade is Memphis Grizzlies because they get a true veteran in that locker room.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like you said, with Steven Adams, that can mentor Ja Morant and others, not just Ja Morant, but other young players because they need to learn how to win.
Yeah.
So with a player like Marcus Smart, that's going to help them learn how to win as you see how they played in the playoffs. Obviously, with Ja Morant being not in the lineup, in and out of the lineup because of his suspension and whatnot, and then he's out of the lineup the first 25 games for that this suspension that did come out after the finals. We also have to talk about that as well because we wasn't here last week. So he gets Ja Morant suspended 25 games after the finals. That gives Memphis some leeway there, bringing in Marcus Smart to help them win some games of that 25 games.
Yeah, and another thing is Marcus Smart, Defensive Player of the Year. Memphis also has another Defensive Player of the Year, I believe, is Jared Dudley. I believe that's his name. Yeah, so they definitely got two cornerstones because that's the inside, and Marcus Smart is outside. So yeah, Memphis came out good. Memphis came out real good.
Right, and also going with that large trade, that big massive trade, the Bradley Beal trade with Chris Paul. Chris Paul ends up getting traded again.
Mm-hmm.
Washington Wizards again making moves. Jordan Poole gets traded to Washington for Chris Paul.
Mm-hmm.
And Washington also get a 2030 first round pick and a 2027 second round pick. I mean, that's years and years down the road. But they're stockpiling picks. So they're stockpiling picks. They're getting young players. They basically, like I think I told a friend of mine, they're basically just, leveling that team and starting from scratch.
And they're trying to re-sign Kuzma. They really want to re-sign.
Right,
Kuzma.
but Kuzma wants $30 million a year, so I'm not sure they can be able to re-sign him. I think he's going to be gone.
He probably is.
But when it comes to Chris Paul, the Golden State Braves have said that they want to keep Chris Paul. They're not going to just waive him and dump, contract money, which I thought was going to happen.
I thought that was going to happen too.
Right? How does that look right now? Because on top of all of that, Draymond Green has opted out of his contract, maybe trying to get a long-term deal with Golden State or with another team. That lineup, let's say Draymond Green opts back in and gets a different deal, a team-friendly deal or whatever, to stay and retire there. You can possibly have Chris Paul, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kuminga, and Draymond Green as your starting five. I'm not saying that's a world beater of a team, but that's a team that can contend with immense veteran experience, championship experience. I mean, how do you see Chris Paul fitting in with Golden State?
Yeah, I honestly believe that he was going to get waived by Washington. I thought Washington was going to waive him, but they waited, which was smart on their part. Traded for Jordan Poole, which it was a lot of issues there in Golden State. They got rid of him. So when they traded for him, got Chris Paul there. I believe if they start Chris Paul, that's fine. Or if he comes off the bench, that's fine as well. He's at the end of his career. This is probably going to be his last stop. I know he wanted to either be Lakers or Clippers because his family is in Los Angeles, but he's in San Francisco. So this could be the best chance for him to get a ring in this stage of his career. And I don't like to count Golden State out. I have Denver as my favorites to win it all next year, but I don't like to count Golden State out. because they have Steph Curry, the greatest shooter God has ever made, and they have Klay Thompson. That's historically the greatest shooting backcourt ever. And they have Draymond, who's a great defender. They have Kuminga. And they have I was about to say they had Joe Lacob, but he left. He left, but they still have a front office that is top notch. So
Right.
I don't want to count them out.
Yeah, and speaking of one of the greatest ever, I mean, Chris Paul is one of the greatest facilitators ever. So
yeah,
we definitely very, very too early to tell about what's going to happen. But we're going to come right back and talk more NBA offseason and NBA draft right after this. It's the Keep 1 Million show.
Hi, it's Olivia Munn with my shelter pets, Frankie and Chance. Say hi, guys. When I adopted them, I discovered that they both have incredible personalities. Chance's sole purpose in life is to love and to be loved. Frankie is a little bit of a scoundrel and always entertaining. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt Pure Love at theshelterpetproject.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the Humane Society of the United States, and Maddie's Fund.
When you went car shopping, you meant business. You aced vehicle history searches and test drives. You out-salesmaned the salesman. Now you've got your wheels. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you'll have the info you need to get more for your future. Go to aceyourretirement.org, because when it comes to speeding past financial challenges, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, we're back. Keep 1 Million show. I'm Dwayne.
Sean P.
And like I said, we're getting into the NBA offseason is rolling fast as you have the NBA draft, which is live right now. The first round is going on, and we do have some first round trades. You have Dallas Mavericks getting the number 12th overall pick, which is Derek Lively, and Oklahoma City getting the 10th pick, which is Carson Wallace. Also, the Pacers have got the 8th overall Jarris Walker, a 2028 second round pick, and a 2028 second round picks. And they traded with Washington with the 7th pick, and they end up getting Bilal Coulibaly. That was the kid from France that played with Wembanyama. So he is paired up now with Jordan Poole over there, and possibly Kyle Kuzma, and I think it was Tyus from Memphis. So I see what the Wizards are trying to do. Go very young, and they're starting with getting very young guards. Some guard play, and to flip Chris Paul to flip Bradley Beal, to get Chris Paul, to flip him for Jordan Poole. They also grabbed Danilo Gallinari, Tyus Jones with that Kristaps Porzingis pick. Now, they're going to be nowhere near the playoffs in the next probably 2 seasons, but seems like this is maybe a groundwork possibly for an Oklahoma City type of team. As you know how Oklahoma City did with, get rid of Russell Westbrook, get rid of Chris Paul, trading away, remember all the way back to Kevin Durant, who else was there? All those players that went to the NBA Finals back in 2011, 2012. stacking all those picks. They had about 15 draft picks. End up getting SGA, who's an all-star, who's a top player. Chet Holmgren, who was injured last season, but now he's coming in. And I forget the Australian kid's name, but he's an all-star. He's a great player as well. Also, Lou Dort. I mean, if you look at Oklahoma City's roster, and it took a few seasons, 5-6 years.
Yeah, it did.
Now they actually are contending for a playoff spot, possibly in the perennial playoff team with a young core. I mean, it seems like Washington's trying to build that blueprint a lot faster, though.
Yeah.
Can you see that happening with Washington?
I can see that happening, especially if Kuzma stays. I don't know about giving him the $30 million, but he wants to go get his money. Go get your money. Go get the bag.
Right.
Of course, I'm never going to tell anybody not to do that. But if they can keep Kuzma, I can see them trying to do that, and the fan base and the front office being patient, being like, okay, let's see where this gets, especially with young players playing on their rookie contracts. It's a good situation for them.
Right, and then like I said, they have new general manager, a whole new front office, and they couldn't keep Bradley Beal there. With that massive contract, they had to get rid of that contract, and doing that, getting Chris Paul, who's on the cheap. They only had him for a few hours, but trading for a much younger player. We know the issues in Golden State, but remember, in 2021, 2022, he was a top guard. Jordan Poole was, and he was a significant part of Golden State's run to win that fourth championship. So if he can go back to that Jordan Poole,
which I believe,
quote unquote, aka pool party, I can see eventually they can make something happen in the East. Now, moving on, still going NBA draft, but also getting into this off season, you have the number 3 pick, Scoot Henderson. Okay, he is a excellent point guard.
Not a great 3-point shooter, but
not exactly, but he can slash. He has a nice layup package. Great ball handling skills. Great vision.
Yeah.
He's a rookie. He's going to be a rookie. He's like 19, 20 years old, straight from high school to the G League. This is the new NBA. They're not going to go straight from high school to the NBA, but they have other avenues as far as you got this overtime elite league that players can go to and go that route. Obviously, the international route, as we've seen multiple players do that for forever. And now this overtime elite team, which is based in Vegas, that some players, if they're good enough, can play there and possibly be drafted. Scoot Henderson has been drafted by the Portland Trailblazers, and we know that's a conundrum because Damian Lillard. Now, Damian Lillard has said time and time again he's loyal to the soil. He's going to stay. Portland has said they're going to try to build around him, but the world 10 times over is looking at this situation and is like, really? We've heard the story before. Now they draft basically Damian Lillard's replacement. Do they trade Scoot to get Damian Lillard, a top player? Or does Damian Lillard say, no, I want out, finally? I mean, what do you think is going to happen?
I believe that Damian Lillard is going to say, I want out, or frame it in a more polite way. And say, because he already picked some teams out there. Remember?
Right.
He picked some teams out there.
Miami, Brooklyn, That was only 2 teams, but he doesn't have a no trade clause. The only one who did was Bradley Beal.
Which a lot of people was wondering why he had that, why they gave him that. But not saying he's not a good player, but there's only a few players that deserve that.
And it's the Washington Wizards, so they had to give it to him just to keep him.
Just to keep him. So I believe that they could use Scoot Henderson to get a top-notch player. They could. A team out there that could use a young guard, but I believe that they're gonna trade Dame Lillard.
Right. Some names that were floating around was Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram.
Oh yeah, I did hear Brandon Ingram.
Some other players.
Cat Towns too, right?
Yeah, Cat. He's gonna be a free agent. So to pair up with Damian Lillard, I'm not sold on any of that. That could be enough for Damian Lillard to stay, thinking that Portland's going to try to find a way to compete for a championship. Remember, a few years ago, they was in the Western Conference Finals.
They got swept.
They got beat by Golden State en route to one of their 4 championships, but they traded away his tag team partner, to New Orleans and C.J. McCollum. They don't bring anybody for him in those years since the Western Conference, the Western Conference Finals.
They still haven't replaced LaMarcus Aldridge.
Damian Lillard, what are you doing? I mean, you see what's going on. I mean, the writing's on the wall, and I think that whole politeness does have to go away, because your fans, even the diehard Portland fans, want to see Damian Lillard win.
Even if it's not with them, they're like, yo, go get you one.
But that's what I'm saying. They want to see him win.
That's how I was with Iverson.
Right. Remember all the way back to the Barry Sanders days.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was a huge fan of Barry Sanders.
Yeah, I was.
But when you see him with Detroit, and Detroit's not making any moves, and they barely make the playoffs back in, I think this last season was 1999, when he ends up retiring, because the ownership did not want to trade him to a contender. Everybody was upset about that, because wow, you may have wasted so many years of this man's career and future years because he retires early, right?
Megatron too.
Exactly. So now we're looking at that, and now we're coming back 2023 to a player, I will say just like them, but close, as Damian Lillard. He's a top 75 NBA player. He's one of the top guards in the league right now.
What I don't want to see is, I don't want to see Damian Lillard beat CP3. I don't want to see that.
Oh my goodness. You know what? They both could be tied up with 0.
Yeah.
As far as championships is concerned.
I just don't want to see that.
And both of the opposite. You have Damian Lillard staying with a team that knows they don't want to win, and then CP3 bounce around from team to team trying to win.
Yeah, but he never signed as a free agent. He was getting traded though, right?
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. It's not like he's forcing his way out, but at the same time, he was always that piece. With Houston, he was that piece to get them over the top.
He got hurt.
But the Suns, he was that piece to get them over the hump.
He went to the
and he got
finals.
hurt. Right.
He got hurt.
Now he's turning into a trade piece.
Yeah.
Which unfortunately, that's what the case is.
Yeah.
But I really think they're going to both be Charles Barkley.
You think so? I mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
Like I said, unless Damian Lillard wants out and only gives them a couple of teams he wants to go to. I mean, we've seen James Harden do it. Yeah. We've seen other players do it that force their way out and get traded within hours. You know what I mean?
It's only a few teams that Dame Lillard could go to that's contending. He could go to Boston, but I mean, I'll be a Sixers fan. Right? I hate to see that, but he could go to Boston and definitely do something with that team. I mean, maybe
I mean, right now, Brad Stevens looks like he's being very aggressive. There's rumors that they're not even done. You know, getting Kristaps Porzingis and whatnot. But my thing is with the Damian Lillard situation, it's like, what is your legacy going to be? Because, yeah, you're an all-time great player, possibly the best Portland Trailblazer of all time, besides Bill Walton, who did win a championship, by the way. what is your legacy going to be? Because if you force your way out, no one's going to be upset at you. And I think that's the problem. He would be mad at me. I want to do it my way. I don't want to, quote unquote, chase rings and whatnot. You can't say that anymore if the team that you're with is not actively trying to get you help to win.
Mm-hmm.
And also, there's also other players around there that can be traded, that can get them, better players.
Yeah.
So they have talented young players on that team.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, he said he does not want to rebuild. He does not want to teach young players. He wants to be on a veteran. It sounds like LeBron James all over again. But LeBron James end up making it happen for LeBron,
Mm-hmm.
where now he's still contending for titles.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we have to see what happens with that in the next, I would say, in the next week or so.
Yeah.
What happens?
So. Mm-hmm.
Going back to Victor Wembanyama.
You know what's interesting about the San Antonio Spurs? Every so often, I'm not going to put years on it, but you have to notice that when they drafted David Robinson, it's like they weren't the worst team in the lottery when they drafted David Robinson,
Mm-hmm.
and then when they in 1997 they got Tim Duncan, and they definitely wasn't, because I remember Philly had a worse record than them, and Philly ended up picking number 2 that year, and they took Tim Duncan, and then now they got Wembanyama. Now they definitely didn't have a good season this year, but you can't count Pop out. Right now he got Wembanyama. I mean, oh man, this is
my question is, do players see San Antonio now as a destination? Maybe younger players, with these older players actually on their way out, as far as
I don't
them
think so.
retiring.
I don't think so. I like San Antonio as a town. I've been there before, but I don't see free agents and younger players saying, oh yeah, that's
We'll
right.
play with Wembanyama, right?
Yeah. Unless they when they start winning, and they be like, hold up, yeah, I think so. I think I might do that, but not right now. At least not right now.
Okay. Give him some time.
Yeah, give him
As
some
you
time.
say, give
Give him like
Wembanyama
3
some
years.
time with
Give him
some
like 3
players.
years. Yeah.
You're right. See, because he's an amazing player that does amazing things that some of it we've never seen before. So definitely gonna put a watch out on Victor Wembanyama, the number 1 overall pick in this year's NBA draft. Before we go to break, we haven't talked about the championship, as
Oh yeah.
Denver beat Miami. We wasn't here last week, and who do you see next season contending against Denver?
As of now, I have Denver as my favorite, but to compete against Denver in the Western Conference, I can see Phoenix. I'm not gonna count them out. I can see Phoenix doing it. I could also see Golden State, and my dark horse would be Memphis.
Okay.
Dark horse would be Memphis. I need to see what they look like after John's suspension, and how can him and Marcus Smart mesh together, because he's suspended, so he can't even practice with him.
Okay.
So I want to see how that backcourt meshes. But just, like I said, that's a dark horse. I don't want to count out either LA team, but I just need to see the moves that they're gonna make after this draft and everything.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what teams I think can contend when we come back from this break.
Mm-hmm.
Is to keep winning the show.
The revolution will not be televised.
And we're back. We keep 1 million. Excuse me. Keep 1 million. Show 'em Dwayne.
Sean P.
And we're just getting into the Denver Nuggets, who just won the championship,
Yes.
beating the Miami Heat in 5 games. We're gonna get into Miami later on as well because of, you know, what is next for the Miami Heat. But for me, as far as who can go against Denver, and I really think what I want to see is the Milwaukee Bucks.
Okay.
I really want to see Giannis versus Jokic.
Okay, I was just
Past
going West
two-
Coast, but
The past 2 champions, past 2 MVPs. I mean that can solidify who is the actual best player in the league, in the world, I should say.
Mhm.
Those are 2 international players.
yeah.
As far as the West, the Suns is most likely the team that can contend against them. With the addition of Bradley Beal, we got to see later on in the offseason if they can make some more moves. Shore up their bench and everything like that. But I really think I don't see another team in the West that can really contend against Denver right now.
If I was to say a team out east, I could see you saying the Bucks, but I want the Bucks to be at full strength though. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see Giannis with a back injury or anything like that. I actually believe that Boston. I'm not saying that Boston would have beat Denver. They would have given them a better match. They would have given them a better match. And I believe that Boston can give this present Boston team can get them a real good matchup. So it can either Milwaukee or Boston.
Right. And as far as Miami's concerned, I see Pat Riley said that they're not gonna, stop trying to get players to help Jimmy Butler and make that team better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's that rumor of Damian Lillard to Miami. I mean, this could happen as well.
That wouldn't be enough to beat Denver though.
Right, but what can Miami do to possibly get back into the finals again, or even deep into the playoffs next season? Because there's something missing there that they need.
Yeah, it's like it said. I'm gonna use a hip hop term there. My man Large Professor, the main ingredient.
Right.
Like it's some main ingredient. When you're a cook, you're a cook.
Yes.
When you make it and you test tasting, like something missing. And then you find it, you put it in there, you be like, there it is. There
Right.
it is today. And it's something now. Pat Riley, I have all faith in Pat Riley, and they did the GM down there. Name slips my mind right now. It's right on the tip of my
Pat
tongue.
Riley.
No, it's Pat Riley, but it's another
I know.
guy. It's another guy that works with him.
Yeah.
And
Pat Riley. Pat Riley works with Pat Riley.
Yeah, but Pat Riley knows what he's doing. So, and he'll figure something out because Spo ain't going nowhere.
Right.
Spo ain't going nowhere.
Because the thing is, right now in the league, you have what's called a positionless player.
Mm-hmm.
And if you see in this draft here, these players cannot just play offensively different positions, but also play defensively
Mm-hmm.
as far as switching is concerned on that that ball screen,
Yeah.
that pick and roll, pick and pop. These players can switch defensively, play different roles offensively.
Mm-hmm.
All of them can shoot 3-pointers. There's no quote unquote 3-point specialist anymore, and they all can shoot threes around 40%. So with Miami, you need a player like that, like not just a Jimmy Butler, but like a bigger Jimmy Butler, a 6'10" type of Jimmy Butler. You know what I mean? Like Brandon Miller, right from Alabama. He's that type of player.
Yeah, he's about 6'9".
That Charlotte had got, and he defends all 5 positions. He can facilitate and he's a great playmaker. So Miami has to look at someone like that.
Yeah.
maybe a veteran of that caliber, but I'm not sure if that a veteran of that caliber is even available.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I was watching a podcast.
Well, you know what? There is.
Oh, there?
Chris Middleton is a free agent. He did turn down his option.
Yeah, but with Milwaukee, yes.
Yes, he
He
did.
turned down his option.
Now he wants a new deal, obviously a long-term deal, but if he stays healthy, he's that type of player. Now he's not a number one,
Mm-hmm.
but he's a surefire number two.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Chris Middleton, yeah. I can see that. You talking about you can see him in Miami? You saying that?
Well, I mean, if Miami wants to make a hit,
Yeah.
if Miami wants to keep there,
he's a 2-guard, right?
yeah.
Okay, all right. That means they would, which I don't think they would mind letting him go a little longer too. They'd probably let Kyle Lowry go,
Right.
And to bring Middleton in. That could work down there.
Mm.
But that's still, I don't think that's still bringing home though.
No, not necessarily.
Now, honestly, if they would have got Kristaps Porzingis, I'd be like, like,
Right.
yeah, you know.
So like Crystal, that possibly could work down there in Miami. But you see Boston,
Oh,
they
yeah.
pulled the trigger sooner.
Yeah.
You know. Now, what other teams like do you see can contend besides the team we talked about?
Okay, we said Milwaukee, Boston,
Mm-hmm.
we said Phoenix, Golden State, and I said Dark Horse Memphis.
Right.
The rest of the teams out there that are really good, they would have to. I have to see the moves they make, like a Philly. I would have to see the moves that they make. Are they going to keep Harden? They're going to let him walk? Are they going to pick up Van Fleet? Are they going? You know, I have to see the moves
Right.
that they would make, because Embiid is going to be Embiid. Embiid going to give you 30 a game. Yeah, that's going to be there. Are they going to trade Tobias? There's been rumors about trading Tobias for some players. I had to see what they're going to end up with.
And you know what? That's a team that possibly is on the brink. And what I mean is the 76ers, they're possibly on the brink of one player away to win the championship,
Mm-hmm.
or one player away to blowing up that whole team.
Yeah.
You know,
Literally.
yeah, and it's like, I don't know how the fan base is.
Oh, I know how they are.
Well, let me ask you a question then. How is this fan base of the 76ers where you're always one game away, or not, I wouldn't even say one player away, one game away. There's usually one game away, one play away, you know, from getting to the finals or getting even closer to the, to the finals.
Well, I'm gonna tell you now. Like years ago, it was the whole blame game. You know, they was blaming Ben Simmons. I wasn't blaming Ben Simmons. I was like, you know, Embiid, if you're supposed to be that guy, the man, the ball in the block. I put it all on him. You finally got. See, I put a lot on Embiid's shoulders, man, because I'm like, you finally got your MVP. Yeah, you did, because you was crying about that last year. You know, like now you finally got your MVP, and then when it was time to show up as an MVP in that Game 6 to bring it home, you didn't do it. You didn't deliver. Joker showed, like the Joker showed you, but he didn't care about MVP. He wanted the chip,
Right.
and he literally let it go. He said, "I don't care about that, dude. You got it. Let me go get this chip." Now you at home watching him get that chip and watching people tell you that you weren't really the MVP. He was. So like, if he's the best player in the world, you know. So man, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about it? You know, that's why I always go back to Michael Jordan and the Kobe Bryant types. What are you gonna do about it? They didn't sit back and let that ride. You know, they didn't do that.
Right.
They went after it. So I want to see what the front office do, and I want to see what some of the players do next year.
Right.
We'll see. But I stand on what I said though. Is in the East is Boston and Milwaukee.
And I think the biggest question for the 76ers is what James Harden does. And speaking of free agents, I'm gonna play this game. You know, we do have a top 10, but I'm gonna name the top 10 free agents.
Okay.
And you have to guess or pick what team, any team.
Okay.
What team will they be on next season?
All right, let's go.
Number 1, Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie Irving. If he had his way, it'd be Lakers.
Yeah. Where do you think he's gonna go?
Lakers.
I'm gonna say he stays in Dallas.
You gonna say he stays in Dallas? Okay. I wouldn't be mad at that, but the Lakers.
Number 2, James Harden.
I think he's gonna walk. I think he's gonna walk, and I believe for some reason, some suspicious reason, I think he's gonna go back to Houston. He's gonna go back to Houston.
I concur. I think James Harden goes to Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Fred VanVleet.
Philly. Somehow they're gonna work it out to get.
I got the Knicks.
Got the Knicks. Okay.
Yeah, we got to battle that one.
No, I can see that, but hold up, VanVleet, is he? He's a point. I know his positionless, but he's a point guard though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
so is he coming off the bench? Is he
I
coming
could
off?
put him at the 2. No, I put him at the 2 with Jalen Brunson at the
all right,
point.
all right,
Yeah.
all right. That's not no.
Yeah.
But I can see him there. I can see him there.
3 is Grant, his teammate.
In Toronto?
If I'm not mistaken, yeah.
Grant Toronto? I don't know.
I'm not mistaken. I think that's the same player.
What's Grant's first name?
I don't know. I'm looking at last names on here.
Okay.
Man, okay. Scratch him. Kyle Kuzma.
Kyle Kuzma. If he doesn't stay in Washington, Clippers.
The Clippers.
Yeah. Clippers.
You know what?
It's like Kawhi to the 3. It's like Kawhi to the 3. He'd be at the 2. Westbrook at the 1.
I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna say Miami.
I can see that too. Miami.
I'm gonna say Miami.
He can slide down to Miami and he'll play in the 2. And yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna skip these next 2 guys. I'm gonna go. We already know about Porzingis. He went to the Celtics.
Yeah, he did. Celtics good.
Jordan Clarkson.
Jordan Clarkson.
Remember him?
Yeah.
He's with the Utah Jazz.
He's with the Jazz now.
He was 2-time 6th man of the year.
He's with the Lakers, wasn't he? With the Lakers?
Yeah, he was. Earlier his career, great scorer. He can fill it up.
You know what? Back with the Lakers.
Back with the Lakers. Okay.
Back with the Lakers.
You know what? This is a hard one for me. I'm seeing a need. You know what? I'm gonna say for Jordan Clarkson, Milwaukee.
Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna say Milwaukee. D'Angelo Russell.
Knicks.
Oh, the Knicks? Nah, too many guards.
He can play the 2. He can play the 2.
Well, you didn't say VanVleet, so
Yeah, he play the 2.
maybe.
He play the 2. You know what? You know what? He's more of a. Not that I'm not gonna backpedal because I just straight up said the Knicks, but he is more of a point guard though. He with the ball in his hand. So you're right. That might not work. That might not work out there. So, but he's not. I don't know if he's gonna stay with the Lakers though. I don't know.
I would say D'Angelo Russell. I would say. I'm thinking. Goodness. Can't be the same teams. I'm gonna say.
Could you say the Hornets maybe? With
No,
LaMelo?
no. You got LaMelo there already, and he ain't going back. He's not going back.
Back to where Golden State?
No, or the Lakers.
The Clippers?
No, not the Clippers. Possibly no. I would say the Bulls.
That'd be a good spot. That would be a good spot because Oh boy, Lonzo.
Lonzo Ball is gone.
Gone, yeah.
I
Believe it or not, I have confidence that he's gonna rehab it out, and somehow come back.
No, that's 6 players. I gotta do this one.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan Brooks.
Oh man,
Where does Dylan Brooks go?
He's a defensive guy, so you go somewhere where they need defense. You said you want to take it first because I'm gonna throw.
I got.
I'm gonna throw one out. We might be thinking. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you go. No, you go because I got a perfect team.
I was gonna say Golden State.
Oh no.
I know, but they can figure it out with him and Draymond. Like, and the defense, but he could take. I'm thinking defensively. Like he could take a lot of pressure off Steph Curry. That's what I'm thinking.
But see, the player after that, then he's gonna throw it for you. No, I'm not gonna say nothing. Go ahead. You say Golden State.
Yeah, I say Golden State, but
I'm gonna say the Celtics.
Okay, yeah, all right.
I'm gonna say the Celtics. But my next player is gonna throw your last player for a loop.
Probably will.
Draymond Green. He just opted out.
He opted
what
out.
Team does he? So you're gonna say he stays?
Yeah, I would say so. I would say he stays with Golden State. Okay. I don't see him going anywhere. And they want him. The front office wants him to stay.
Most likely he stays. But I'm gonna say the Lakers.
Oh yeah.
Clutch Sports, LeBron James. Yeah, he's out there in France with LeBron doing it up.
They have been that has been a rumor. If he didn't go back to Golden State, I can see him going to the Lakers. Yeah, I can see that. I believe he stays. So
the last 2, Russell Westbrook.
He's staying with the Clippers.
I say stay with the Clippers. Yeah. And then the last one, which is also an easy one, Austin Reeves.
He's with the Lakers right now, right? He's with the Lakers.
Yeah.
He's gonna stay. That's the best situation for him because LeBron loves him.
Yeah, he stays with the Lakers. So there's your top 10 right there.
LeBron.
Top 10 free agents and what teams do they go to? To be honest with you, I think Dylan Brooks to Boston, man.
Hold on, Austin Rivers, is that Doc Rivers' son?
No, Austin Reeves.
Oh, that's Austin Reeves.
Yeah, number 15, the white boy.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Austin Rivers. I think he's with Utah now or something. I don't know what
Dylan Brooks with Boston? No, woo.
Yeah, I think so. I think that would work. But we're gonna come right back with the next hour. Thanks everybody for listening, watching on YouTube and Instagram. Please go on, listen the number 2 KRDB. Listen the number 2 KRDP.com to listen to all of KRDP's radio shows and this show in particular, the Keep 1 Million show. We're gonna come right back. Please keep it locked right here.
Yes, sir.
Business sponsorship on KRDP is provided by Local First Arizona, a statewide nonprofit designed to grow locally owned businesses. Ever think about where money goes when it's spent? Eating local, buying local, and banking local keeps money moving through our community, creating more jobs and improving prosperity for everyone, from shopping to banking. Local spending empowers Arizona's economy. Find out more info at banklocalaz.com. #Move Your Money.
Broadcasting from the Phoenix Center for the Arts, you're tuned to KRDP Jazz and Indie, where the Valley comes to talk, sing, connect. KRDP Apache Junction, Goldfield Ghost Town, Phoenix, 90.7 FM in the East Valley, and online at Listen, the number 2, KRDP.com, a service of Desert Soul Media.
Views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of Desert Soul Media and its board of directors. Thank you for listening.
This week on the Keep 1 Million show, the NBA draft is live and the number one pick is in. As we all know, Victor Wembanyama from France is your number one pick. We're going to talk about that and what other player can be an impact in the league. We're also going to talk about the NBA offseason, free agency, and all the trades and moves that have been made in the past week. We're also going to get into the NBA champion Denver Nuggets and who is the next team that can beat them. And we're also going to get into what happened in that submarine by the Titanic. Been the biggest story in this past week. We're going to have that and more right here on the Keep 1 Million show.
You ever been to the garden? You ever been to the garden?
Oh,
For a
once when
game?
I was a kid, but it was for the circus.
Oh, Barnum and Bailey.
Yeah, like when I was real little. Yeah, really, NBA's only 2 rounds.
Yeah, it's only 2 rounds, and then I found this out maybe a few months ago that Joker, he was a second round draft pick. I didn't even realize that.
What was that? Oh yeah, it was like
Yeah,
41st pick, something way down there.
It's only. It used to be back in the day. It used to be way more rounds, but they shortened it to 2 rounds, and then the rest of them like rookie. Like you could be a rookie free agent and stuff like that. So. A team that's real good at that, well, at least real good at overseas stuff was San Antonio. They're real good at overseas scouting, and I always was like, that's why when the Sixers hired Brett Brown back in the day, I was hyped about that because he was part of that San Antonio system and everything, and I actually never had an issue with Brett. You know, they gave him an extension, and he deserved it, and then he couldn't, they were trying to get over that hump, and they thought Doc could get him over that, and Doc couldn't.
Right.
We've been waiting for a long time. Yes, we've been waiting for a long, long time. We've been waiting for a long time. But we ain't gonna wait no more. We're getting ready to rock and roll. We're gonna 1, 2, 3, 4.
And we're back to Keep 1 Million show. I'm Dwayne.
Sean P.
And it is NBA draft night. We are live. And hold on. Victor Wembanyama, he goes first. As everyone knew, he was going to go number 1 to San Antonio Spurs. It's going to go the top 5 picks. Victor Wembanyama from France to San Antonio. Brandon Miller from Alabama goes to Charlotte Hornets. Scoot Henderson from the G League goes to Portland Trailblazers. Amen Thompson from Overtime Elite goes to Houston Rockets. Osir Thompson, his twin brother from Overtime Elite, goes to the Detroit Pistons. And Anthony Black from Arkansas goes to Orlando Magic. Now, as far as the twin brothers are concerned, they're the first twins to be top 5 picks.
Oh, okay.
Back to back. Now the Morrison twins, they did go, I think 13 and 14. There was a few,
Brooke and Robin, right, Lopez?
Right, the Lopez brothers. But there's a few trades in the draft so far. Boston and Detroit traded the 31 pick and the 25th pick.
Mm-hmm.
Milwaukee Bucks and Orlando traded the 36th pick. Dallas and Sacramento traded the 24th pick. Dallas also traded the 12th pick to Oklahoma City for the 10th pick. Dallas got Derek Lively. Oklahoma City picked Carson Wallace. And the Wizards, who's been making moves this whole offseason from jump, they move up. They move trade with Indiana. Indiana gets Jarris Walker, and Washington gets Bilal Coulibaly from France, who was Victor Wembanyama's teammate in France. Now, with that all being said, can any of these teams compete as far as, you know, is this going to be the next team, the up-and-coming team that can make, not just make the playoff, but make a run? I highly doubt it. But when it comes to this Victor Wembanyama, I mean, is he the next Kevin Durant? Is he the next, you know, the next generation of superstar athletes? You know, how do you see it?
Yeah, that's a good question. Is he next Kevin Durant or the next KG, Kevin Garnett, something like that? Wembanyama, he's a different breed of player. I mean, this guy's 7 feet 5 inches, can dribble the ball. I've seen him shoot a 3, then follow the miss up with a tip dunk. I mean,
right.
Like, who does that? Now, I don't know if it's going to translate into the league because he's going to be playing against the big boys now, but I believe he's going to do well. He's going to grow into the game because a lot of people thought that KD was too thin, and they thought Brandon Ingram was too thin. And they grew into the game. They were fine. They were fine. So I believe that Wembanyama's going to be fine now. Is he going to make the San Antonio Spurs an instant like contender? No, but I don't ever like to count Pop out though. I think Pop can figure something out.
Yeah. The thing is, it's going to take some years. You know, we also see, you know, they're not a team as the Spurs to receive so many, you know, free agents. That no one wants to go to San Antonio, but they do have 5 championships,
Yes,
and because of the players that they have, and Popovich is the
players
common denominator. They buy into the system. The main reason Victor Wembanyama wanted to go there and wanted to basically this is, you know, seems like a plan that was happening. But the main reason is because he's a Tony Parker, huge Tony Parker fan.
Oh, yeah.
And he said there's a lot of young French athletes, French players are, you know, he's one of the first to go from France, you know, to the NBA. So, you know, he was the blueprint to
He
get
was a
there.
late round pick.
Right.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer.
Right.
He's gonna go to the Hall of Fame.
Right. Exactly. So Now you have 2 French players this draft going into the league.
Game is becoming international.
Well, it's been international.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, not becoming. It's
you
international.
got top players in the world right now winning championships.
Yeah.
You know, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jokic just passed, and it's going to be that way for a while now.
The league has adopted the Euro type game. I mean, D'Antoni brought that over. You know, I was watching a podcast not too long ago. It had Miko Grimes on it, and she broke it down how the game was played overseas. Even though she's a woman player, I was played overseas. They were taught that when it rotates over, your point guard might be in the post. You know, he might be in the post, so you have to know how to post up, have good footwork, and your big man might be at the top of the key, hitting the 3-pointer. It's just positionless, and D'Antoni brought that over from Italy.
Yeah.
And you have to give D'Antoni his credit, even though his teams didn't play any defense, but you got to give him credit.
Yeah, right.
Credit for that offense. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Also, Steve Kerr. I'm getting his offense and defense from Popovich.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how their style is with all their international players. So,
exactly.
Now keeping with the NBA draft, the 3rd pick was Scoot Henderson, great point guard from